may be some people who continue to come in, but thank you guys for gathering here tonight to honor our spring athletic teams. I want to begin with another really, really loud round of applause for your Lakes Region Tournament champion softball team. That was an awesome game on Friday, so thank you for it. It wasn't even close towards the end. That's what was exciting about it. So tonight we will celebrate the accomplishments of 7 programs that worked hard and stayed committed to the development and improvement of each student athlete during an always fast and tiresome spring season. After each team presents, we will also honor our Gatorade Players of the Year and conclude our celebration by honoring those senior athletes who have contributed a great deal to our athletics program during their time at Tilton. I grew up in a family that would say that playing sports is about winning at all costs, that the passion and love for the game we start out with at an early age seems to disappear over time, and the feeling of playing becomes more of a job and less fun. This evening, I want you to try and remember why you began playing in the first place. For those of you whose athletic career will end after your high school season, I want you to recall the parts of your amazing journey in sports that brought you to now. If I had to answer for you, I'd say you played because many years ago, when you stepped on the courts, the fields, or the course, you felt excited to do it over and over again. You put in the work and the time to get better because you wanted to, not because you had to. You discovered that feeling of giving everything you have and the feeling that makes it worth it. You knew that the determination and perseverance learned through playing the sport would stay with you for the rest of your life. Think about it. Think about what you'd be missing if you never played sports. Go ahead, look at the people sitting beside you. This is actually what it's all about. It's not about just the championships, but the people that you get to win those championships with. Your coaches, your teammates, your friends, the relationships you formed. Moments like Friday, when the winning runs crossed the plate, we weren't really sure what to do. But then the softball team ran out to celebrate the championship, reminded me of how amazing this community is and how special the people are that we get to share it with. It is why, if you remember one thing when you leave Tilton after this year, I hope you remember what we told you at the beginning. The people sure as heck do make the place. I'd first like to offer the biggest thank you to the coaches, parents, faculty, and students who had a hand in making this spring season an absolute success. A special thank you to Marvin in the equipment room, our athletic training staff, Chuck and Heather, housekeeping, maintenance, our communications office, the Sage dining staff, Mr. Scala, Ms. DeVoe, Mrs. Donahue, Mr. Tumpari for helping on the clock, and of course, Ms. Johnson, whose support and help never goes unnoticed. She does so much behind the scenes that actually makes the athletic department go. It's not me, guys, so when you're saying thank you, say thank you to Ms. Johnson. And then, of course, to all of those who were not named tonight, if you guys had a hand in making the spring season a success, thank you. You all deserve that. The order for tonight's ceremony will be girls tennis, varsity golf, boys varsity tennis, girls varsity lacrosse, varsity baseball, boys varsity lacrosse, and we will finish with the Lakes Region Tournament champions, varsity softball team. So Mrs. McCandless and Miss Mann, you're up.
Some of you may have heard my end of season speeches in the past, and you know that I tend to rely heavily on tennis puns. I'm a little hesitant to do that this season. I'm afraid that Mr. Lesser would surpass my abilities. I mean, I guess he and I could volley a few back and forth, but maybe we'll pass on that. I echo the thanks from Ms. Brisson to all those in the athletic department and communications and everyone else that has supported us this season. A big thank you to Mrs. Caldwell for working with us to find opportunities to serve off the court. Okay, just one more. I am ever grateful also to Mr. Lesser and Mr. McCandless for sharing court time, equipment, and the passion of the game with me. Finally, a huge thank you to Miss Mann. I truly could not have done it without her this season. Her ability to organize things and step in wherever I needed her to made it much easier for me to focus on what the team needed. She can't be here tonight, but I know she shares my gratitude to everyone who supported us, but also the team as well. I've been thinking a lot about how tennis is sort of a metaphor for the mastery approach. You will be happy to know, however, that I'm going to save that analysis for a little later time. Instead, I was hoping to remind you of something I say often. Tennis is a game of little victories. It might be learning a whole new scoring system, or learning essentially a new language that includes things like pro set, no ad, deuce, 12-point tiebreaker that clearly means the first to 7. Or it might be looking up into the sun, waiting to see what the 40-mile-per-hour gust of wind is going to do with the ball and adjusting your space to be able to return a not-so-perfect feed. It might be winning your serve. It might be figuring out how to return a rocket serve from someone else. Your victory might come off from a marathon singles match, only to have me tell you that you need to play your doubles match right now. It may be playing the worst match of your life and then getting back out on the court again. It may be figuring out how to get out of your head and back into the game. Or maybe your victory is balancing your sports commitment with driver's ed, work, soccer practice, horseback riding, or play practice. Or figuring out how to be a part of the team by being the best team mom ever when you're injured and you can't play. Do you know what happens when you add up all these little victories? It ends up being a pretty big deal. Please be proud of all that you have done this season and know that you are often the very, very best part of my day. I'd like to acknowledge our 2 captains, Vivi and Kat. It's for you. You want to put on? You guys were amazing at keeping everything running smoothly, and I was so impressed with the way that you always represented us at away matches, at home matches, and right here in the chapel for our announcements. I'm going to have you guys, will you present these to the next 2? So I'm going to have you do the next one, and then you're going to have the next one, okay? We have 2 awards to give out in addition to recognizing our captains. One of the things that I love about watching a team and watching tennis is athletes who are not tennis players, but evolve into their game. Sophia King brings with her a natural athletic ability, hand-eye coordination, and ability to see the open spaces. She is eager to learn both technique and strategy. And while we always worked on hitting the ball smarter, not harder, I must admit that I loved watching Sophia crush it once in a while. I'm so excited to see what Sophia will continue to do to develop her game. So this year's most improved player is Sophia King. Sometimes in tennis, we talk about the #1 spot as being the sacrificial lamb. This is the position that faces real competitive talent, and it takes an amazing amount of grit and a little bit of stubbornness to be able to go out on the court knowing there's a good chance the other player is more experienced and definitely better coached. Every single game, Noelle Sarkis would go out and battle, and never once was she outclassed. Noelle used our practice time to focus on particular aspects of the game that would make her better, and would work on the things that were hard instead of continuing to do the things that came easily. I am very pleased to present this year's most valuable player to Noelle Sarkis. Thank you all, and I miss you already. I'll see you soon.
All right, thank you so much for everyone being here on this special evening. I'd like to start off with a few thank yous. First off to Miss Brisson and Miss Johnson. I know all the work that goes into scheduling our matches can be especially difficult with golf, where many of our opponents have multiple courses that they play out of. So figuring out where we're heading on the bus every afternoon is no easy feat. So thank you very much for that. Also, Miss Corvo and Mr. Carter, you wouldn't think a lot of injuries came up with the golf team, but we had many lingering ones that were being dealt with in the training room throughout the year. So all their support was much appreciated. So this year, okay, admittedly, we had more losses than wins when it came to our matches. Okay, we finished the season off with a 5th place finish at the Lakes Region playoffs just this past Wednesday. Okay, but when it comes to this spring, I'm incredibly proud of this group with the growth that I saw. I mean, anyone who's ever picked up a club knows golf can be as frustrating as a game as there is. And when I look back and look at the spreadsheet of all our scores through the year, and I look on our first couple times out where we had 5, 6, 7 guys shooting in the 60s when we tee it up, to by the end of the year, every person was breaking 55 every time we played. Okay, it was a lot of improvement. I know it can be frustrating when we're on the range, and imagine that coaching advice sounds like this. Well, why don't you try this? And about 300 swings in 2 weeks from now, you'll notice it's getting better. Okay, so that's not the easiest way to coach when it comes to the game of golf. But these guys brought so much excitement and enjoyment that I really can't imagine a better way to spend a spring than looking forward to every afternoon, getting on the bus with them and going to the course, and them cheering in the back when I'd call out the groups every day who was playing together. So thanks for that, boys. It was a lot of fun. Thank you. So first off, I'd like to honor our captains, the first of which isn't with us tonight, Will Grisky, and I'll get a little bit more about him later. I mean, to be honest, he's by far the best player on the team. Okay? And despite only being a sophomore, I had a conversation with him before the season started, kind of found out where he was at mentally, and I realized that he was a perfect kid to, despite his young age, be a leader for this team. He works so well with everybody helping him out in the different aspects of golf. He knows far more about teaching the game than I'll ever know. So I lean on him a lot when it comes to that, and he was a huge help this year. So Will Grisky is our first captain. Our second captain is Liam Scanlon. Liam is a kid that I could always count on. Okay, his positivity was right there every day when we had tough decisions to make with matches and who was going to play and who wasn't, and what the different dynamics were to who play with each other. He was a huge help in that instance. So I thank him for his maturity, okay, and responsibility helping me out along the way. Thanks, Liam. Next up, we have the Coaches Award. There's a couple different ways I could go with this, but it really came down to one person in the end who I thought brought so much enthusiasm for playing. This is a kid who played most of our matches as the number 2. Okay, was a big part of our team, won a lot of matches. Okay, and like I said, his enthusiasm every afternoon we got on the bus and being out on the course, didn't matter who he played with, he was going to have a great time, and that's Nick Brennan. So the toughest one to choose was probably our most improved player because, as I said, looking at the scores, we had a lot of guys show a lot of improvement this year. And, I mean, for example, we had Yere, who went from a guy earlier in the year who wasn't even playing in some of the matches to by the end, he was our number 2. Okay, so he showed a lot of personal improvement this year. But in the end, I went with somebody, sort of a 2-year guy, who last year's playing average throughout the entire year was a 62, and he hardly played in any matches, wasn't ever in the top 6. To this year, his scoring average was a 51, which is 11 strokes lower. He played in 5 matches, and that's Kai Soar. So Coming from what I said earlier, it should be no surprise that our MVP this year is Will Grisky. As I said, he played every match at number 1 for us. He was our only player who played in every single match. Sort of similar to tennis, it's far different than a team sport where being the second best player on the ice or second best player on the field, you're going to beat up on a lot of people through the course of a game. When you're the number 1, you're just facing off against the best every other team has every night, and Will was always ready for that challenge. We had our Lakes Region Championship, as I said, on Wednesday, and as only a sophomore, he finished number 2 in the whole Lakes Region, shooting a 73 at Sunapee. So I think this is a kid who is going to be a big part of the program moving forward. He's a great golfer and an even better kid, so Will Grisky is the MVP. Thank you. Have a great night.
All right, yeah, I need help. This. 2 of it. Logging on here. Okay. Here's the cap. On time as always, John. All right. What a group. This is tennis. We had part-time, we had full-time, we had good time, and we had no time. We got rained out a lot. We had 7 total matches. Brady, Cody, and Ben returned from last year, much improved. Tony returned from 3 years ago, also much improved. Our top 2 newcomers, Augie and Nico, turned out to be really good players and kept us in matches. Others that earned some varsity match time were Will Howe, Jean, Hunter Perkins, and Gus. There's so many good tennis players at all the Lakes Region schools, so every match was a major challenge. As Cody pointed out last Thursday, we did win our first match in a couple of years over Vermont Academy a couple of weeks ago, and we battled in every other match. They were all close. I'm very proud of this team and the effort and also the fun with which they played. Thank you to Mrs. McCandless for sharing the courts efficiently. For some reason, we were always able to communicate clearly with each other. Thank you also to Coach Lesser. It was awesome to have a real tennis person on the staff. I'd like to recognize our captains. Augie's not here, but Augie was one captain, and Ben Ashton. Great job. Thank you. A lot like the golf comments, most improved, everyone improves in a season of tennis. If you go out there and you play every day, those of you that played yesterday out there in the sun, you might have thought, oh, if I just did this a few more days, I'd get that serve. And we have our most improved this year is a 2-year improvement. Cody Perkins battled, excuse me, for a couple of years playing against some really top talent. And he makes it happen. He battles. He hits the ball back. He can handle any amount of pace, any of these guys that come up. And it's, he's close to being able to win a lot more of them, but every one of them was close that he played. Thanks, Cody. He's almost speechless. He did talk to his opponents an awful lot, kind of in a good way. Our MVPs, we had co-MVPs. Both of these guys, as I mentioned already, came new to Tilton this year. And so we didn't really know what they would do out on the tennis court when we finally got to the spring. And Augie's not here. Augie can serve. You don't want to be on the other end of that. And, of course, our other MVP, Nico. Nico can do it all on the tennis court. He's a complete player and really fun to watch. Now for the results you're probably really waiting for. The yesterday Tilton Tennis Open, 26 teams out there. What's 26 times 2? 52? What? Yeah, a lot of math going on out here. 52 people were out there in the sun battling away for 3.5 hours, and it was a blast. It was wonderful to see. Results: third place, Fletcher Waterman and Aiden Roy. Second place, they only lost to the eventual champion, and the champions had to beat these guys twice, and it was a battle. Second place, Ben Ashton and Ella Stanley. And this year's Tilton Open champion names will be inscribed on the cup in Mrs. McCandless's office forever, I'm sure. Nico Poulin and Aiden Drywitz. Well done, everybody. Thanks, guys. Yeah, I don't know what to do with those.
Is everyone here? Are we good? Okay. All right. I just want to start by saying that I'm so happy to be here tonight to celebrate our season and to take some time to reflect on this group of young women that I am honored to have had the opportunity to coach over the last 3 months. I'd like to share a few important thank yous. Without the help and support of the following individuals, it would have been impossible to make our season happen. To our manager, Annabelle, thank you for being so diligent and dedicated. Your help with games has been invaluable, so thank you so much. Where are you, Annabelle? Are you saying? Thank you, Annabelle. Chuck, Heather, and Phil, thank you for your commitment to keeping us healthy, helping us get better when we were injured, and for always being there regardless of the elements, rain, snow, heat. I think we had it all this season. Thank you to Marvin for always having our uniforms ready on game days and for always taking care of field setup and clock management. To Ms. Brisson, thank you for being a supportive friend, mentor, and athletic director. I so appreciate the time and energy you put into all things big and small, and for the passion you show on a daily basis when it comes to athletics, especially athletics at Tilton. Last but not least, thank you to Coach Bayer for being the assistant coach that keeps us together and moving forward, and for the care you show each and every player on our team. Coaching is absolutely one of the best parts of my job here at Tilton. Whether it is practice or a game or just time spent together as a team, lacrosse season energizes me and reminds me why I love the game, why I loved it as a player, and why I love it as a coach. I am tremendously proud of this group. When thinking about what I wanted to say tonight, I decided on a word that I feel sums up our season. That word is resilient. This group of girls showed up day in and day out, ready to work, looking to get better. We had plenty of high moments as well as low. However, they never backed down from a challenge and always responded when I presented them with a goal or a plan. This was made evident in our final game of the season against Kimball Union Academy, where we executed in a way that I had not seen yet before. That game was a true representation of the positive growth our team experienced this spring. I want to thank you all for the time and energy you put into this season, for being great teammates, and for working hard, even on the days that you did not want to. I am excited to see what the future holds for this team, and I'm grateful to our 9 seniors that led us so cohesively since we started practice in February. I'd like to recognize and thank our 4 captains, Diana Poland, Elizabeth Larson, Isabella Marzano, and Maisie Burt. You all have very different leadership styles, different styles of play. In the variety of positions you all play, we were covered on the field at all times in terms of voice and direction. I could always count on the 4 of you to communicate with your teammates, and I greatly appreciate the pride you took in your role on the team this spring. We have 3 awards to present tonight. Our first award is the Coach's Award. When you are a player that suffers a long-term injury, it tests you in multiple ways. The journey towards recovery is never linear, and there are often setbacks. For this player, the setbacks seem to continue to come this spring. However, I can say with confidence that she handled those setbacks with an incredibly positive attitude and worked on ways to remain committed to her teammates at the same time as working on herself to be able to get back on the field. I am especially pleased that she was able to see time in the last few games of our season and so appreciate the teammate that she is and was, regardless of her own status. We would like to present this season's Coach's Award to Marissa Ritter.
The recipient of the Most Improved Player Award goes to an individual who has developed into a defensive force on our team. While I did not have the pleasure of coaching her all of her 4 years, the growth and personal achievement I saw on the field was impressive. She consistently asked for ways to improve, how to approach a scenario more effectively, and pushed herself to be Coach V level loud on defense. She held herself to a high standard and never wanted to let her team down. Her hard work paid off, as seen by her ability to read plays coming down the field on transitions and quickly double or slide to shut down a drive on to goal. I do not think she knows how much of an impact she has had on our team, but she will most definitely be missed next year. This award goes to Joyce Jang.
Okay, so our last award, our Most Valuable Player award, goes to a member of our team that is dedicated, determined, and a strong representation of what it means to be resilient. She set high standards for herself this season and never settled for anything less than her best. She is a competitor, yet also a student of the game, spending hours watching film and asking what she can do to get better. In our 15 games this year, she hit the 50-goal mark and drew attention from the other teams we played, finding herself face-guarded in our most recent games. I cannot wait to see what she'll accomplish this summer and next year. We would like to present this season's Most Valuable Player Award to Maisie Bird. Okay, that's all.
Good evening. My voice is a little strained tonight, a little bit of yelling and screaming at a commencement yesterday for my oldest daughter, plus combined with cold and allergies and all the other stuff, but I'll hang in there. So many thanks to our training staff, to Mr. Preston, to the maintenance crew that maintains our field, to Miss Johnson and Miss Brisson for dealing with an old guy and a really old guy who have to battle over an indoor cage every once in a while. And thank you for scheduling that. So, so this was a great season. I get revitalized when I come back around the game, and I've been away from it for a couple of years and was able to come back. And this group is, I don't even know how to explain them at times. They are fantastic. They keep me laughing. They kept the sport enjoyable. They worked really hard. Unfortunately, we lost in the semifinals. There's always a team that has your number. And this year, Vermont Academy just plain and simply had our number. And unfortunately, we bowed out in the semifinals, but they did one heck of a job. Baseball is an incredibly frustrating sport. You fail more than you succeed most of the time, especially as hitters. Just so you know, the average batting average for Hall of Famers in the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame is 300. That means they fail 70% of the time. It's a sport where you have to maintain composure when you do fail, because you have to turn around and go do something else. That's not real easy. Okay, so if you're pitching and you get up to the plate and you hit and you don't hit and you're frustrated about it, you have to flip the switch very, very quickly to get back out and be successful at what you need to do on defense or on the mound or behind the plate. So it's a sport where you really have to be able to have that self-discipline. These guys were great. I can't explain what the bus rides back from our wins were like. The first thing that we would hear is at about 700 decibels was Jump Around. That was the celebration song. And then as we got closer to campus, they all broke into a horrible rendition of Take Me Home Country Road. And as much as Mrs. Donahue might think that Lou Wood could have done well in the musical this year, I would like to argue differently. But it was that kind of spirit that really kept us going throughout the season. A season where at the beginning the wind chill was like 40 degrees below zero, and then we were playing at like 98 degrees on a Saturday with mixed weather, because weather's just brutal to play in New England. For baseball, any of the spring sports, you just have to make your adjustments. Our first award tonight. I had the pleasure, this is the second time I've had the pleasure of coaching this athlete. And I always worry when he starts to come out and do something athletic, because I'm just not sure if his limbs are actually going to get tangled up, if he's going to fall over, what he's going to do. But he does everything with enthusiasm. And if there's a lesson to learn from this young man, is try just about everything that you can. And he did that this year at Tilton School, including baseball this spring. As much as he spent a little bit more time with his foam roller than he did a baseball, it was absolutely phenomenal to watch the advancements that Lewis Wood made as a baseball player. So our most improved player, Lou Wood. We have two coaches awards. Both of these young men put their heart and soul into the game. They led in very different ways. The first one, it's just his first year with us and his only year with us, and we will miss him incredibly. But his spirit, his drive, his desire, his passion, unfortunately sometimes his mouth, showed you exactly how much the game of baseball meant to him. He was constantly supportive of his teammates, driving them, pushing himself. So Marshall Donahue is one of our coaches. The second player has been with us for a few years, and he's just a very quiet leader. He goes about his work. He does what he's asked to do. When he's asked to step in and play, he will. He will bide his time on the bench and be a very good teammate. He has just been fantastic to work with, works hard every single day. Never complains if he doesn't play, is excited when he does everything he needs to do correctly in the field, at the plate, in the game. And he's just another really, really good teammate and a solid baseball player. Seth McKenna. Most valuable player. As I've done with all of my teams, is I have the team vote for this. Sorry, Lou, you only got one vote. I have a sneaking suspicion it was you. So the most valuable player is a team vote, and the popular vote this year, it was a little bigger spread than I thought it was going to be. But this player led the team in batting average, slugging percentage, hits, home runs, RBI, runs scored, and stolen bases. So it is my pleasure to give Jack Balser the most valuable player. I know there are folks worried out there because a lot of captain's awards are given first. But this one, I held out a long time tonight. This young man bleeds baseball. I knew it the first time I saw him as a ninth grader, and I got to watch him play with my oldest son on the team. He just bleeds it. He's a baseball player through and through. He comes to practice every day, working. When he doesn't have success at the plate, he works. He has been a consistent presence on the mound for the last few years. He is always ready to go. He'll play any position you want. He also brings that youthful enthusiasm that you really need. Literally in infield, outfield, when we're doing at practice, just to tune up before the game, he'll dive to make a play. He'll come up dirty. He loves it. He probably knows about every baseball statistic there is out there. We shouldn't be shocked by the kind of brain that he has. But our captain this year was Jack Tuaro.
All right. In the interest of keeping this short and sweet, all right, and I know Mike is after me, so I'm going to speed up a little bit. But I would like to thank Kate, Candy and Admissions, Tara, Emily Johnson. You guys have done a lot for me here at Tilton, and I'd like to thank you for all of your support. I'd also like to thank Tom, Pam, Marvin, and Joe. Thank you for running our shot clock and scoreboard, whether or not it works sometimes, but thank you so much. And especially to Tara for dealing with my many requests throughout the year. Emily for scheduling and transportation, Marvin for all of our equipment needs, and Chuck and Heather for keeping our team together, literally with ice and tape. Andy, thank you. You stepped up to the plate this year, to assist me, and you were the backbone of our team. As a coach, you provided a great deal in terms of how we learned to play together, as a team, and how to be better men. I cannot thank you enough for everything that you have done for me and the team this season, and I hope that we continue to grow together as a team. Right. This year, the boys varsity lacrosse team went 7-9, winning all but one out-of-conference game. We finished the year ranked 51st out of 97 in New England prep schools, 29th out of 55 in the New England Northeast ISL. Right. This group of young men displayed such resilience in the face of adversity. They never quit, never backed down, and continue to push forward and get better every day. Looking towards the future, I'm incredibly proud of this team and what they have accomplished this year and the base that we have built toward the future. To the class of 2022, many of you guys have been here with me since my start at Tilton, right? Going through a global pandemic and years of ups and downs. And I cannot thank you enough for teaching me how to be a better coach, mentor, and a man. So thank you. For our awards, we have 3 captains this year: Sutton Orsillo, Leo Piandez, and Liam O'Neill. So we have 3 awards. Our first award, this young man has been a stalwart player all year, is all around one of the finest athletes I've ever seen. Finishing the season with 35 goals, 37 assists, for a total of 72 points. He was the focal point of our offense this spring, and he will be dearly missed by the coaching staff, and Pat, who we pass to almost all every time. So, I know that whatever sport you choose to play in college, you will excel. This year's offensive most valuable player goes to Leo Panda. Our defensive award. This goes to a guy who has always been dependable on the back line and will play in any position asked and throws one mean, rusty gate. I don't think I can say enough about how much this young man truly made me a better coach, whether it be in our meetings or the times he put the team on his back and does it all on the offensive and defensive halves of the field. He finished the season with over 85 ground balls as well. It has been a pleasure watching him grow and become the man he is today, and his steady leadership will be missed both on and off the field. This year's defensive most valuable player goes to Sutton Ursula.
So for Coach's Award, Coach's Award goes to a person that is just through and through Tilton Lacrosse. We had one guy that was just a standout, always there at the beginning of practice to help out, move things onto the field, carry the ball bag, always ready to get in the net and take some shots. One of the nicest guys I know, Jacob Oliver. Wait, I'm going to ask you. So I'm a long-winded old man. That's what I understand. Yeah, well, maybe 1 out of 2. I don't know. Yeah, you figure out which one. I've been doing this for a while, and I can tell you that this group of athletes is the most talented group of softball players I've ever had the pleasure to coach. We ended the season, Mr. Ruggles talked some numbers. We ended the season batting .366 as a team. We ended the season with a .921 fielding percentage and a pitching staff that I think is the best in New England. We lost 10-8 early season to Cushing. Cushing went on to go undefeated this season, and they've won their tournament as well. We lost them in a game that could have gone either way, but since then, way back in early April, we went on a 12-0 run. And you saw just how dominating we can be against a strong KUA team on Friday and a very strong Proctor team on last Wednesday. So thank you, all of you who showed up on Friday and on Wednesday. Thank you to the parents who've been with us all season, home and away. And of course, thanks to everyone who's already been thanked. I mean, I don't want to go through all of it again, but thank you. We've got 2 more thanks. Jamie Dolpes, are you in the room? Yeah, okay. Yeah, so we went high tech this year, and Jamie is our high technician bookkeeper. Jamie, thank you for being there every day and for adapting so quickly to Game Changer. I also want to thank Coach Elsesser. As some of you know, where are you, by the way? Hi! As some of you know, she loves being up here. I couldn't do a lot physically in March and in early April. Stepped in. We did it. So I want to thank you very much for doing that. Yeah. Let's give her a hand. I also want to introduce you to this guy behind me. Some of you don't know him. Clayton, we call him Coach Clay Sargent. Clay has just finished his 15th year as a volunteer Tilton School softball coach. He has been exceedingly generous with his time, with his pocketbook, and with his expertise. Over the course of 15 years, Clay has coached pitchers and catchers. He's worked with hitters every year, and he's manufactured by himself myriad runs from his position as a third base coach. To acknowledge his 15 years as a coach, we have a little something for Coach Clay. It says, in appreciation of 15 years of dedication to Tilton School softball, your generosity and drive, your love and wisdom will be missed. Okay, next I want to acknowledge co-captain Maddie Stephen. Maddie didn't pitch a single inning this year. She didn't take a single at-bat, but she led the team with her voice and her competitive insight. We look forward to having Maddie at full strength next season. Maddie, wherever you are. Aly Andrews finishes her Tilton School career, a two-time captain. She's a second baseman. She's learned how to, she learned this year that she loves catching as well. She ends the season with the team's highest fielding percentage. Get this. These are professional numbers, 953. Yeah, that's an incredible number. And a batting average of over 400. She notched similar numbers, maybe a little better, as a ninth grader. And we didn't have a 10th grade season for her. And last year we had this COVID season, and Aly did as well. She has had an amazing career as a Tilton School softball player, an amazing career. Aly, we're going to miss you. No one deserves a coach's award more than you. Our third captain is Julia, the Force. She finishes the season with a batting average of 688, a fielding percentage of 938. Okay, now this next one is just incredible. An earned run average as a pitcher of 0.4. That means for every 7 innings pitched, she's allowed less than half an earned run. Less than half. She's notched 53 strikeouts and 94 innings pitched this season. She's been nominated both for the NEPSAC Player of the Year, Boston Globe Player of the Year, and the first team Boston Globe NEPSAC All-Star Team. Julia works hard at her craft. This is not because things come easy to her. This is because she works at it. She works hard at her craft, and she is clearly the team's MVP. One more honor. Ari Perry finished the season with a team high 6 home runs, 18 RBIs. She, along with Julia and Aly, will represent Tilton in the Lakes Region All-Star Team. Ari, okay. To seniors, Alyssa, Colby, and Jordan. Yeah. It was actually so much fun working with you guys this year. I loved shushing you when you were too loud and cajoling you when you were too quiet. And by the end of the season, I think we got the mixture just about right. Riley and Anna, what a delight it was to work with the two of you. What a delight. To get to know you, your positive attitude about the game and about life, the smiles on your face. The two of these kids, players, athletes, young women, they smile through life. And what a great lesson for us all. Livy and Aly, talk about positive attitudes. Livy and Aly, thank you. And to the rest of you who will be returning next year, the two rising 10th graders, Zoe and Alexa, just incredible softball players. Ari, Keegan, Marissa, and Ava, the rising 11th graders. Really, really outstanding softball players. 12th graders, Julia, Maddie, Jazz, and Chevy. With all of you coming back next year, it looks pretty good. It's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you. Thanks very much.
We'll wait. Can you guys hear me on this mic? So before we celebrate our senior letter winners, I want to quickly acknowledge Jackson Paradise and Anae Adams. Anae, come up here, and Anae, you're gonna come up here too. Yes, Although just recently we were able to hang their banners in the park, it was this past December and March when Jackson and Anae were recognized as two of the best in the state at their sport. Both being named the Gatorade Player of the Year. The award, which recognizes not only outstanding athletic excellence, but also high standards of academic achievement and exceptional character demonstrated on and off the field and court, distinguishes Paradise and Adams as New Hampshire's best. Jackson becomes the first ever football player from Tilton School to receive the award, while Anae is the second girls basketball player to be chosen. So, your award will be cleaning that up after. Do you want to bring the table down? We can go from there. So our final salute this evening, and bear with me guys, will be to those senior letter winners. When I call your name, please come to the front to collect your plaque and have your picture taken with Miss Johnson. With 3 letters, Lewis Wood. Soccer, basketball, and baseball. MIP baseball. With 3 letters, Riley Ganter. Field hockey, ice hockey, softball. Ice hockey captain, Coach's Award, ice hockey. With 3 letters, Marshall Donahue. Football, basketball, and baseball. Coach's Award, baseball, Male Athlete of the Year. With 5 letters, Tobias Patterson. Football, soccer, and lacrosse. With 5 letters, Kylie Curtin. Soccer, lacrosse, and tennis. Soccer captain, MVP soccer. With 5 letters, Jack Twarog. Soccer and baseball. Baseball captain, MIP soccer. The pictures are the best part. Good job, Miss Johnson. With 5 letters, Cody Perkins. Soccer, ice hockey, tennis. Soccer captain. Coaches Award soccer, MIP tennis. With 5 letters, Torrin Bosworth. Soccer and basketball. Basketball captain, MVP basketball, Chester LaRoche Award winner. Nobody knew you played soccer back in the day, Torrin. With 6 letters, Sophie George. Soccer and basketball. Basketball captain, Coaches Award basketball, Tommy Merrill Award winner. With 7 letters, Matt Beraldi. Ice hockey, lacrosse, golf. Ice hockey captain, Coaches Award, ice hockey. Good job, Matt. With 8 letters, Joyce Chiang. Field hockey and lacrosse. MIP lacrosse. With 8 letters, Seth McKenna. Ice hockey and baseball. Ice hockey captain, Coaches Award baseball. With 8 letters, Sarah Schutte. Field hockey, ice hockey, lacrosse. Field hockey captain, ice hockey captain. With 8 letters, Aly Andrews. Field hockey and softball. Softball captain, Coaches Award softball. With 8 letters, Diana Poland. Field hockey, ice hockey, lacrosse. Field hockey captain, lacrosse captain, Coaches Award ice hockey. With 9 letters, we're moving up there. Bella Marzano. Field hockey, ice hockey, and lacrosse. Field hockey captain, ice hockey captain, lacrosse captain, MIP ice hockey. And lastly, this senior accumulated 12 varsity letters over her 4-year career at Tilton School. 3-sport athlete, Sydney Baxter. Soccer, ice hockey, lacrosse, soccer captain, ice hockey captain, Coaches Award soccer. So let's have one more round of applause to all of our award winners tonight. Yay. Please remember, if you did receive an award for your team, stay after to have your picture taken with your coach. That concludes our evening. Seniors, you are dismissed.